And I know we're going to talk about it, but I was just looking at my notes. It's a big week for our eighth graders and their families. They're selecting their high school. So they're just selecting where they're going to spend their next 4 years. It's a big week for that. Hard to believe high school's already here. And if you're looking for interpretation, we have Ms. Kroll here. She's our school interpreter and does a lot more for the school. You just need to look for the interpretation icon on your screen to listen to Ms. Kroll.
Buenos días, Tomás. Pero ya estás en la...
Si necesita escuchar esta reunión en español, solo necesita buscar el icono globo y selecciona español.
Sí. Sí.
At some point, I will have to put everybody on mute, but we can hang out for right now while we're just getting started.
¿Y tienes que meterte a la cámara?
Mi hija va a ir al mero clip. Sí.
Sí.
En realidad yo no.
Okay, so far I'm looking at the polls. We've got, we're about evenly distributed between 6th, 7th, 8th, and a few from Gear Up. And also, let's see, people got the email, people got the text message. And we have 1/3 of our families are listening in English and 2/3 are listening in Spanish. If you haven't answered the questions, please do so. See. Right, so let's see. I think I'll probably, while we're waiting for the principal, I've got some things to cover on my own. So I'll go ahead and start. Again, my name is Michael Doyne. I work in the Parent Center. And officially we're going to be called the Family Center soon. So since we know that it's not just the parents that are supporting students, it can be any number of people, and we're grateful for all the support.
Pues es que no lo encuentro.
Let's see. And before I continue, I did just mute everybody. That included Ms. Kroll. So Ms. Kroll, go ahead and unmute yourself, please, our interpreter, so the Spanish speakers can hear you. So again, November is Family Engagement Month. So it's a month where we show appreciation for all that our families do for our students. For example, a couple of weeks ago, those who are car riders may have seen some of our students giving out pastries to our families in front of the school. Also, this meeting is an example of how much we appreciate, how much we want you involved in your child's education. Tomorrow, we have another meeting for the families of our students receiving ESOL services tomorrow at 2 p.m. So you probably received a link for that if you have students in the ESOL program. It's about half of our school. So hopefully you'll be able to join tomorrow. We know it's during the workday, so a lot of people aren't able to, in the traditional workday, I should say, a lot of people aren't able to log into these meetings. But we are recording these meetings, so people can access the information at a later time. Let's see. Also, what else do we have going on? If you didn't see the email or the post, we do have final exams coming up, and I imagine Dr. Irish will talk about that shortly, about our exams coming up. Want to also make sure everybody has downloaded the Parent Square app. I think a lot of you already have, but we do know some of our families have yet to download Parent Square. And that's the new application that the school district is using to communicate with families. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. So that's Parent Square. So want to make sure you're getting those messages on Parent Square. Also, as we always talk about, it's a great idea to check your child's progress on the parent portal. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. I do see our principal logging in. So Dr. Irish, I think I've got you on mute, which is not my intention. Jump in whenever you would like, Dr. Irish. But I was mentioning that the parent portal is always a great place to check to see how your children are doing in their classes. So I'll put that link in the chat as well. So somebody's asking, for what grade is this meeting? This meeting is for the families of all of our students.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? I'm glad to see everyone here today. I think that we have an equally large crowd, and thank you, Mr. Doyne, for getting us started and welcoming our parents. We're really excited that you're here today. We never know if we do an afternoon meeting, if it will work for your schedules, but we try to alternate between evening and afternoons because we know some families work in the evening, and this may work better for you. So thank you for being here today. We actually are very excited about today's presentation because we do have some highlights from our school that we want to share, but we do have a guest speaker. Our school psychologist is here, and she's going to speak to us today about getting through the holidays as a family and as a parent, and give you some tips for our students. Hi, Ms. Edwards. And just a big thank you to Ms. Kroll for interpreting for us. We do appreciate that. All right, so give me a like or a thumbs up, or put it in the chat if you've attended every session that we've had so far this year. If you've been in every Informed with Iris session so far this year, you haven't missed one, put your name in the chat or give us a thumbs up. Awesome, I see some thumbs up. I see some doing it virtually, some with their actual thumb. If you don't know how to do the thumbs up, you can just put your thumb in the camera. We really appreciate our families, and y'all, we really have a great school. So I don't want to hold you because I know some of you are borrowing your lunchtime to sit through this presentation. If you haven't had a chance to formally meet me in person, as you know, I'm Dr. Irish and I lead our school. We have some great staff members here, and you'll hear from one of them. So just to get started, I'm going to share my screen. Mr. Doyne, can you allow me to share?
I guess I should. One moment. Sorry about that. All right, there you go.
Okay, so you should be able to see my slides right here. All right, so we won't take a lot of time away from our speaker today, but we do want to go ahead and provide you with some information about what we're going to be talking about today. Let me go back. There we are. All right, so first of all, we have a great school. And here's our goal. I know that we are in a middle school, so that means that we're not perfect. That means that we do have to work with students on learning how to become a productive adults one day. But we know that they're children and they're still learning some of the nuances. But what we envision at our school is that we will have a school where we are good citizens, where we are respectful, we can apologize for mistake, we keep our promises, that our students have what we call grit. Grit means that you don't give up when things are hard. You stick with it and you have that resiliency, and a school of encouragement where our students feel like they belong here and that this is another part of their family, that they have people they can count on at school, to welcome them here and help to build them up to where we know they can go. We do want to share with you some highlights because we have a lot of great things happening in our building. And then I will share a slide of some work that we are focused on. So first, I want to talk to you about what's been going really, really great. There are some pictures here on the screen. You can see that we have students actively engaged in instructional activities. You also see that we have some enrichment activities that our students participate in, such as clubs and activities. There's a picture. I don't know if I shared this with you in another meeting, but Freddie the Falcon came by and said hello to one of our teachers, Miss Tuff, and gave some gifts. So he gave her a bag of gifts. This actually happened a few weeks ago, or actually a couple months, I think, by now. And there's a picture of our Teacher of the Year. She's been busy, and I'm going to share one of the things that she has been up to recently. And there's some more things that are on the horizon for her, but we are so proud of her, and she's been doing a great job right there in the blue. So some celebrations and highlights since we last met. We have a picture of a field trip that some of our students attended with Mr. Doyne, a former staff member, Ms. Perkins, and Dr. Seabright. Attended a field trip where they brought students out for the Latino Youth Leadership Conference at Emory University. And then some other great things that have been happening is that we're really promoting being drug-free. We know that vaping is something that's just everywhere for our students. And we're really encouraging them to consider that a drug, even though one can buy it from a store and it's not necessarily illegal. In some cases, it really is not healthy for our students. So we included that as part of our conversation back in October about staying drug-free. We also celebrated Bus Driver Appreciation Month, and we've had Spirit Weeks, American Education Week. We just came off of right before the break, where we celebrate all educators, including you parents. And then we also had Veterans Day, where we celebrated 10 of our staff members who are veterans. And so we're so proud of them for the service they did, and they really show up and they are a big part of our school. So coming soon in December, actually starting on this Friday, we will kick off something that we call 12 Days of Winter Fun, where the staff and students will have fun, games, and activities that they'll be a part of just to celebrate the last part of this semester. And if you're curious about what we did for American Education Week, we had something every day. You just heard Mr. Doyne talk about pastries on Tuesday of the week before break. But every day of that week, we had some fun activity that we did just to celebrate the fact that education is a really big opportunity that not every student in every country has the opportunity to participate in. So as a part of, what we do here in the States, we go to school. And we really encourage our students to do well in school. So we celebrate American Education Week as a part of that work. So I wanted to share with you that we had some parents come out. I didn't list them by name just for their privacy, but we did have some parents come out and they shadowed in some classrooms. It was a really fun experience. I don't know if we have any of those parents on the call today, but it was really fun just to watch them immerse themselves in the work that happens in the classroom. And it was eye-opening. Some of the classes were very tough, and just to watch the students participate in the class and keep up with the work and know what's going on and just the quality of the work being done. Someone named Sylvia, I don't know if a child has access to your screen, but someone's drawing on it if you can help them with that. But we want to thank those parents who came out and spent that morning with us. It was a lot of walking, a lot of learning, and these families had some amazing questions. So they were educators for a day during American Education Week. We also had some swaps. So we had our teacher for the day, and I'm going to erase some of this.
I'm trying to find the option, sorry.
There we go. So we actually had our principal for our teacher for the year. She was principal for a day. So she came with me out to one of the meetings that we attend with the other principals in the Meadow Creek cluster. And she made some really important decisions for that day. But most of all, she was able to get a snapshot into the behind the scenes that happens as a leader in our school. And she had a great time doing it. But she was so excited to get back to the classroom. So that was really fun. And then we had Miss Nicoletti. I don't know if any of your students have Miss Nicoletti, but she was a student for the day. So she sat in classrooms and she
Dr.
really,
Irish, I turned off the screen sharing for everybody, which included you. So I'm going to,
okay,
you should be able to share again. Sorry about that.
okay, got it. There we go. All right, can y'all see my screen? And I see Dr. Tallent's on here. Hello, Dr. Tallent. All right, so we're just doing a little bit of a warm up. I know you're ready to jump in here. But again, Miss Nicoletti was very surprised at how many moving parts our students go through in a day. I think she has a good idea as a teacher, but just to sit in the seat of a student allowed her to get a greater level of compassion for our students and just understand what they go through on a daily basis. She even attended connections and lunch. So she was fully immersed in the world of student. And then we had her share back out to the staff, and she just said, everyone was so nice to her. Like everyone, you know, all the adults were so respectful and the students were respectful. And a lot of the students stepped up and they were helping her figure out how not to be lost as a sixth grade student. So, but there's a lot we don't know as the adults. And so that was really good. We want to congratulate someone who's actually on this call, and I don't know that we shared this with our families, but Miss Edwards, if you can wave. Miss Edwards is one of our grade level counselors. She has been named as a finalist for GCPS Middle School Counselor of the Year. And so this is a second time experience for Lilburn, and we are so proud. Last year, y'all remember Miss Hall was named the actual Middle School Counselor of the Year. So Miss Edwards is she's up for the running. She's in the top 3. And so we're going to root her on. She is going to find out in February if she is going to be the Middle School Counselor of the Year. And that's an awesome thing for Lilburn Middle School. All right, so we talked about the great things happening. I do want to share some of the valleys. So to give you some background, we are a growing school. So we started out a little bit under 1,600, a little bit around 1,600 this year, and we're at 16. We went up to 1,631, and we went down to 1,608. So 1,608 students is what we have right now. So we're a larger middle school, but we are not the largest middle school. I believe we're 7th largest. So we do have a lot of students, and that I tell you that so that you can understand some of the rules we have in place, some of the procedures, some of the structure, so that all of our kids can feel safe. Out of our students, we've had 557 students earn at least one referral or one minor. So minors are like when your teacher corrects you or talks to you in the classroom, it doesn't make it to an administrator. So 557. That sounds bad, like, oh my gosh, 557. When you think about it, the majority of our students are making great choices every day and have not had anything happen. You know, with that being said. So we just want to talk about the fact that our students are making good choices. And we talked about earlier that they're middle school children and they are not perfect. And we don't expect them to be perfect. And so discipline is something we do to help teach our children how to make better choices so that in society they can make that connection with the good choices that you make. But that is something I just wanted to share with you so that you can understand that even if something is posted online, it doesn't represent the majority of what's happening in our school every day. So I did want to show that to you. Going down to where you see program enrollment, this shows you the breakdown of the different programs that we have in our school. That we have about 94% of our students who are getting free and or reduced lunch. I think in today's time, that's pretty common. In fact, across our district, the numbers are up with free and reduced. That it's just something people need. We do have 72% of our students who are in our EL program. And so we do a lot of strategies to help with that, to help our students to be able to learn at high levels at our school. And we do have good attendance with our students. So as you can see, we are down with our students who we call them you're chronically absent, we're down to 89. So last year we had over 200, and I forget the exact number, we had over 200, but we're at 89 students who we are working with to come to school on a regular basis. And Ms. Kroll, who's actually interpreting for us, she can, she does direct work in that area to help with attendance. But having Ms. Kroll and Ms. Noller help with that work has been tremendous. So our students are coming to school. And we also see on our student surveys that they're reporting liking our school better. So we're doing a lot to hear from our students and to meet our students' needs. Academically, 541 students are passing every class, and they're at no risk of failing. 400 are passing most classes. They're on track with promotion, but there's some work that we have to do. But we have 700 students who are showing signs, and I didn't type the rest of it, but they're showing signs that we really do need to do some intervention. And so there are things that we're offering to those particular students to invite them in on times that may not be normal instructional times, or during instructional times, we're doing different things with them to help get them back on track. But since COVID, those numbers have been high, and we're getting them down, and they're slightly better than they were last year, but we are still realizing that we do have work to do, and we're working very hard in that area to get all of our students on track. And I do want to say that if you have a student that is in that last category, that maybe they're not on track for promotion and they're right near that line, make sure that you're bringing them for tutoring. That is a free opportunity that we offer. It's on our school calendar, the days that we have tutoring. We also have MMIP. So that's a Saturday intervention program that we're inviting students to free of charge with certified teachers. The only thing we need is for you to bring them to that opportunity. But if you have received an invitation, make sure that you take advantage of that. If you did not receive an invitation and you want your child to attend Saturday school or Saturday intervention or tutoring, and you're not really sure how to do that, just reach out to your child's homeroom teacher and we will get you the information. But we still continue to have open seats. And so we do have room for those who maybe weren't invited, but you would like them to attend. Just let us know. Okay, high school selection process. If you have an 8th grader or a student in Gear Up, just know that you should have received something from Parent Square inviting you to participate in this process. In the past, students could just go in and click what school they wanted to attend. We expected them to talk to you so that you would know, like, okay, you chose Meadow Creek or you chose McClure. But what we realized is that some students were making decisions that their parents weren't really aware of. And so when it came down to the fall, some parents were surprised. Like, I didn't know you chose McClure, or I didn't realize you chose Meadow Creek. So now they have included parents as a part of this process. And my understanding is that it's not complete unless you verify what your child has chosen. So just be on the lookout for that. That is going on now. And you should have gotten a message from Parent Square if you have an 8th grader or a student in Gear Up. And if you did not get that message, then, if you did not receive that message, then reach out to us and then we'll see what's going on, why you don't have that. All right. So there's a lot here, and I believe, Mr. Doing, can you just confirm, have you been sending GSMST information out?
Yes, ma'am. It's been in the school newsletter.
Okay, awesome. Just know that since November 1st, this lottery window has been open until January 19th. But for GSMST, it is a very specialized opportunity. So it's for those students who are really interested in math, science, or technology, and they have to have met certain assessment scores to be eligible. So that information from what Mr. Doyne just confirmed has come out to you. But I know we talk about Meadow Creek and McClure, but just be aware that there are other opportunities out in our district. Our district actually has done a really good job of providing specialized options that didn't exist years ago. And I know I certainly didn't have those choices, when I was growing up. But our students have lots of choices now. If you're into the arts, there's a school of the arts. If you're into math and science, if you want to go into the medical field, and now there's an AI cluster. So there's choices that your student has, but we don't want you to miss those windows. And we do know that if you do miss it, then the opportunity is not there. So we do want to let you know about it. All right, so some dates. I know that the November 15th date has passed, but let's see, Meadow Creek is coming up on December 12th. There's a meeting at GSMST for those who are interested. If you're not really sure if your child meets the expectations, then you can go to the meeting and hear about it and then decide from there. Just take advantage of all of the opportunities. Okay, just a quick update. And Dr. Tallent, we're heading to you in just a moment. Just a really quick update. 6th grade promotion criteria. We need our students to be passing 5 out of 6 classes. And remember, 70 or higher is what we consider passing. If their grade is below a 70, because I have a middle schooler and he'll tell me, Mom, everything's just fine. So usually everything is fine is what they say. But we want you to be armed with the information so you can help them make good decisions. That if it's below 70, then it's not fine. And we would say that if it's close to 70, like 71, because that means if I have a bad day or if I don't pass the next assessment, then I could be below a 70. So we want them to be well above 70, but 70 is the magic number. And the same is for 7th grade. 8th grade is also the same. The only difference with 8th grade is that you also have to pass some of the milestones areas. So 8th grade, they add on a little bit more, but it's all of the grades, 5 out of 6, 70 or higher is considered passing. All right, and we talked about our school counselors. We gave Ms. Edwards a shout out. Mr. Doyne, I think you ran through most of your updates. Did you have anything more that you wanted to say?
Yes, thank you. I think you're probably going to talk about, or somebody was going to talk about the final exam schedule. So we do have those final exams coming up next week and the following week. And I can put the dates in the chat in a little bit. The Achieve 3000, we do want students to work on Achieve 3000 every evening and complete a whole section of reading every week. So the first competition ends tomorrow. I did publish the names of the top 25 students in each 20 or 25 students in each grade level before Thanksgiving break. We should know those results. Tomorrow ends the competition for the first session, and the top 5 students who showed the most progress. It's not the top 5 students that read at the highest level. We want to encourage progress. So it's the 5 students that have shown the most progress in each grade level will earn a e-gift card. Also, I'm hoping the weather turns out well this Saturday. We've got the Christmas parade, City of Lilburn Christmas parade. So you can come see Dr. Irish. You can come see our Teacher of the Year. Our student council is scheduled to participate. Let's see. And the calendars for the next 2 years have been published. So those are in the Parent Center newsletter. So as you're planning your appointments for the next year or 2, your vacations, please keep those dates in mind so you can avoid having the students miss school. And let's see, I feel like that may have been it. Dr. Irish, thank you.
Awesome. I do want to say a big thank you to our parents. Every year we have a survey that comes out, and I don't know that we ever come back to tell you, what you said to us on the survey. It typically comes out from the county, from the district office, and you complete it. We normally get very high reviews from you all about communication, about the quality of our school, about care and concern for your students. I think the one area that you typically are concerned about as parents is safety, like what's going on in the bathroom, and things like that, which is why we work so hard to think about that as we plan for things. But we do want to thank you because you tell us we're doing a great job, but I don't know that we've ever come back to say thank you for telling us that. But if you feel like there's another way we can communicate or something more that we can do to help you out, please reach out, let us know. You can start with Mr. Doyne or reach directly out to any one of the APs or counselors, and we'd be happy to hear that feedback. But just a big thank you for completing the surveys that we asked you to complete and saying good things about our school. All right. So now for the no further delay, we have Dr. Tallent. She is a busy lady supporting multiple schools. But she heard about our parent meeting and was so excited to come out and talk to us just in time for the holidays, and to have us think about how our children can constructively use their time. So I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Tallent. Stop sharing my screen. And Mr. Doyne, she may have the ability to share.
All right. Good afternoon. Buenos dias. I'm going to take a few moments and talk about the constructive use of time, specifically the importance of routine and structure. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Perfect. So our objectives for today is to discuss what a routine is, why a routine is helpful, what are some good things to put in place for a routine, some brief examples, and I'll end with resources. So in general, a routine is a structured plan for a family or a home. And this plan helps the family to organize themselves. It helps to make sure important things get done. In a constructive use of time, it allows additional time for fun and shared family activities. And when things are planned and in order, it helps the family feel more together and feel that they belong more to each other and to a unit. So routines are helpful for the entire family. I'll start to discuss how they're helpful for adults. So as adults, as parents, if we have a routine in place, we feel more in control of what happens in the home. This can become especially important during times of busyness or when things are difficult for a family. So if you know what's already in place and what to expect, it's easier to adapt when multiple things are going on, or if there is an unexpected event or a crisis in your family, that routine is something you can always fall back to and not have to use so much time in taking care of things that you have a routine for. A routine in place also helps us have more confidence in our parenting, and it lessens the stress of parenting. Personally, as a parent, when things are not in order in my home, I start to stress out, I'll feel anxious, panic, and it can disrupt your presentation as a parent, which will then disrupt things around you, which always involves our children. When routines are in place, we are more efficient. So when we know this is being done at this time, that frees up extra time for other things. This may be an additional unexpected demand. This may be a holiday, a celebration, or just things that happen naturally in life that that are not always something we need to plan for, but when they are present, they do require our attention. Routines limit the mental strain of family decisions. When decisions are being made, sometimes it can be stressful, especially when different people want a different thing. But for example, if you know that on Wednesday, we have this special dish for dinner, or on Wednesday, we do this activity and then we go to bed. No one can argue about it because everybody knows the expectation. Routines also let everyone else in the home know their role and know their expectation. And so Thursday, for example, at my home, Thursday is when the trash has to be taken to the end of the road. So there's no arguing. My child already knows Thursday night, I have to take the trash out to the end of the road. As routines are beneficial for adults, they are especially helpful for children in multiple ways. What you see listed is not every way they're helpful. They're just important things I wanted to draw your attention to. So routines are predictable. As a child, I think we can all relate, as we were once children, that when our home and our environment is predictable, it helps us feel safe. It helps us feel secure. It also helps us feel more loved and like we are cared for and that we belong, because we can expect certain things from our loved ones and our caregivers. Routines help children build skills. So going back to the example of taking the trash out, that's a chore. That's part of our routine. Chores help teach kids certain skills that will help them as they get older. A routine helps with time management. You are teaching your children how to manage their time. You're also teaching kids how to be organized, how to prioritize certain things. For example, some kids may want to do a fun activity through the week. A routine will help them learn, okay, if I get so much done by a certain time, or I get so much done on a certain day, then that frees up extra time for my fun activity. Routines also help teach children independence, because when children are part of that routine, they feel like you're counting on them to do their part, whatever that may be. Maybe helping out with a pet, helping out with a sibling, helping out around the house, keeping their area or their space clean, laundry, a variety of things. A routine also helps children academically. When certain things are in place, children are more likely to have structured time set aside specifically for rest and sleep. A routine will help build healthy eating habits that contribute to academic success. When you're eating well, taking care of yourself, and resting well, you're more likely to be engaged during your academic day. When things are planned out and organized, children are more likely to have what they need for school. They're more likely to be prepared for school. Do I have a test? Did I study for my test? Do I have what I need for my project? All of these things are easier to do when a routine is in place. Routines can also be managed to where kids are given a certain amount of time to study. Routines also encourage health, good health. So hygiene habits, for example, the nighttime routine is take your bath or shower, moisturize your skin, brush your teeth, be in bed by a certain time. This all helps you be a healthier person. A routine will reduce stress and lessen anxiety. No one likes the unknown. And so if a kid comes in from school and they don't know what's going on, they don't know what to expect. Are we gonna have dinner tonight at a certain time? When am I supposed to be in the bed? How am I supposed to get this homework done? All of that can be taken care of with a good routine in place. Routines also help our bodies set a clock. So for example, on a routine, we will train ourselves, we will train our body. Okay, now it's time for me to wind down and go to sleep. Now it's time for me to wake up. Some of us that are very routine bound, we may no longer need an alarm clock. Our body knows it's time to wake up. because of our routine. One of the most important things I want to highlight about a routine is this following statement. Routines are crucial for emotional and behavioral management in children. For some families and for some children, they may have experienced significant stress factors in their life. Events that happened that were scary, fearful, an unexpected change that may have caused sadness or anger. These things do happen. And when they happen, routines can help the negative impact and the stress associated with these events. They can lessen that negative impact. And I'll just read the statement here. The unknown is scary, especially for children. When they, being children, don't know what's going to happen next in their day, they can feel fearful and out of control. This can lead to temper tantrums. Creating consistent routines can help them feel more in control and reduce outbursts. And this specific statement talks about temper tantrums, but as your kids get older, you may see other behaviors. It may be sadness or wanting to go away, or it may be the opposite, more anger. Maybe they're moody, they're inconsistent, they feel out of control. Again, the more routine and structure that you can put in place, the less likely youth are to have these type of reactions. And especially during this age in middle school, kids are going through a lot of changes, going into adolescence, their minds, their bodies, everything's changing. So it's going to be, they'll have days where they feel out of control just naturally. Again, with routine and structure, you can help this phase or this chapter be a little more comfortable. So what's a good routine? A good routine is three main things. Number one, it's well planned. It's something that has been previously discussed. Again, everybody involved knows their parts, and it's structured. This day, this time, this activity. A good routine is regular. You have to be consistent. So if you do it the way you want to the first week, just make sure you're doing that same thing each week that follows or each day that follows. And a good routine is predictable. It's not unexpected. It's not all of a sudden. Everybody knows what to expect, how it's going to be. A few things to remember. Routines do not mean perfection. So nobody's going to be perfect in this. If you have something planned, if you have a routine and it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to, that's totally fine. The fact is that you're still trying during that day or that time, you're still trying for that same activity. And the more you do it, it will become much, much easier until it just becomes part of your daily activities or your daily lifestyle. Another thing to remember is that everything does not need a routine. Our days are filled with multiple things. Not everything has to have a time block, but the important things that will help your family function will likely most benefit from a routine. So you can also be flexible in your routines, and as your kids get older, you'll want their input. The more your kids can feel like they're part of the routine as far as the idea and how it happens, the more likely they are to want to follow through with the routine. So for middle schoolers, here are some examples of routines that may be helpful for the family. A routine for getting up in the morning. I get up at this time, and after I get up, these are the things I do before I leave for school. Having a routine for your kids when they come in from school. So when I come in from school, these are the things I do within this time frame. Assigning children chores throughout the week. Having a routine for homework. So I do my homework in this space at this time. Going back to the chores, it may be something every day. For example, my child's chore is to clear the table after we eat dinner. Or it may be a once a week thing, like taking out the garbage. There may be a routine for bath time. So in the evening, I take my bath at this time, and it involves these things. Getting ready for school. This is a huge one. Making sure that's done the night before. Nobody wants to be rushed or having to think about, where are my things? What am I going to wear when it's time for school? So letting that be part of the evening routine. I lay out my clothes for the next day. I pack up my backpack for the next day. And if there's anything else I need to bring, a project, lunch, that's already set up and ready to go. So when I wake up in the morning, all I have to do is grab my stuff and leave. And then also a before bedtime routine. A lot of people in general, we like to be on our phone before we go to sleep. And that can really interfere with how well we allow our bodies and minds to relax. So 30 minutes before my bedtime, I'm going to maybe color a picture or draw, read a book, something simple and calm. I'm offering this QR code if anyone wants to scan it with your phone. This QR code will take you directly to a link that has a lot of the information I just shared. I could not figure out how to convert the web page to Spanish. Some websites make that easy, some do not, but I did want to give you the link to the page. That way, if anybody does need the page in another language, you may have an easier way of doing it. And then here are additional resources on structure and routine. The one here on your left is a link to the English version. And then to your right is the link for the Spanish version. When you go to these links, the title is, it talks about structure and routine for toddlers. And I just wanted to make a note of that. I'm not saying let's do this for toddlers. It's just very good information. And even though it's titled as something to do for younger kids, the content is very appropriate for kids in general. And Mr. Doyne, if you would like, I can share a copy of this presentation. That way, if anybody wants any of this stuff later, please feel free to share.
Thank you, Dr. Tallent. This is really
You're
valuable.
very welcome. So that's the end of the presentation. Are there any questions, scenarios, feedback?
Dr. Tallent, while we're waiting on a parent to share, I just wanted to thank you. I know that's easy to assume that children are getting older and they can just manage themselves. But I just love the simple information that you share. That really is a great reminder. And it also helps our kids get ready for the routines of school and work. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're never too old for routines. Okay, I see a chat question. How long does it take to get on a good routine? That could be disputable. I'm going to say it's going to depend on what that routine is. If it's something that's happening every day, like for example, I clear the table after we eat dinner, then probably after a week or so, I'm going to say 5 to 7 times of doing that in a row, you'll catch on. If it's a once a week thing, then think about it. You're only getting that practice 4 times a month. So it will vary, but I'm going to say like 5 or 7. If you can do something 5 or 7 times, it will become more automatic. And you'll probably have to do trial and error as you figure it out. And the more consistent, the easier it will be to become incorporated into what you do. And just really quickly, holiday season is coming up, so a lot of routines will be sacrificed, and that's okay. But again, always just have that as a fallback and say, okay, y'all, it's the holidays. We're going to do it differently this week, but next week we're back on track. Thank you for having me, Dr. Irish. And as always, I'm your school psychologist. So if you need anything at any time, feel free to reach out to our school. I do serve multiple schools, but Dr. Irish, Mr. Doyne, they know how to immediately track me down, and I'll be happy to help.
Thank you, Dr. Tallent. Dr. Tallent has a really big heart. She does a lot of work with our students, so we appreciate her, and we're lucky to have her. All right, families, we had lunch together. I didn't see anyone really having lunch, but I know we're at lunchtime together. So let Mr. Doyne know if you like the lunchtime meetings. If you prefer evenings, we can take that information as we plan. Next month will be an evening meeting because this one was a lunchtime meeting. But we are so thankful you're here, and we hope that everyone had a good Thanksgiving break. And as we go into the other holiday, we want you to also plan ahead to just make sure that you, as a parent, that you're doing okay and that you have a plan in place. But thank you for sharing, Dr. Tallent. That was really good information that I was taking notes on for myself. And I know that many of our families got something out of that. So we do appreciate that. Do we have any other questions from our families? Okay, so today's trivia is a little bit different. We're going to ask a brave person to summarize in English or Spanish what you heard Dr. Tallent share with you. Like, what's one important thing that you heard her say today? So the first person who responds will send a treat home with your student, and we'll do a better job. We had to track down one family last month. We didn't do a good job of getting the child's name, but we'll do that better this time. So the first person to unmute or put in the chat the main thing you heard Dr. Tallent say that you're going to take into your normal life. Let's see, we have Amy, ASQ. Amy, can you say a little bit more? Routine? Can you say a little bit more about it? That's a good hint. Amy's giving us a really good hint. She said daily schedule. Okay, one more thing. Amy's in the lead. One more thing that Amy, that everyone heard. Okay. All right. So let's see. We have Amy, ASQ, and we have SA. So SA and Amy, ASQ, if you guys can put your child's name in the privately message Mr. Doyne, your child's name, we're going to send them a treat. But I think that's a good combination of the takeaway. We need daily schedules. We need routines. Can someone tell us why? And we'll have a third winner. Why do we need this? Because we already have a lot to do as parents, so we don't need to add on making routines for our children to make us more stressed out. But why do we need routines for our children? Gracia says, oh, it's going so fast. Where'd it go? Let me see. Oh, here it is. So Gracia says, a good routine makes them feel loved. That is really true because you're taking the time to set the stage for them to be successful. And something funny about middle school children is they make you think they don't want you to give them a routine or they don't want the structure. But really, when we talk to them behind the scenes, they love it when you do because they feel safe and they feel loved. But that's correct. So Gracia, SA, and Amy ASQ. If you can send a private message with your child's name to Mr. Doyne, we will get those prizes for you and send it home through your child. We do appreciate everyone attending, and we do this every month. We always have someone expert come and share what they know, a little bit of nuggets of information with us. And so we'll have someone else, but I'm sure we'll have Dr. Tallent come back at some other time later this year. But we are so thankful for you giving up your lunchtime to be with us today. If you don't have any other questions, you're welcome to go on with your normal day. And again, we are so grateful for you and thankful for you being here with us. And if you need anything, just reach out. And I want you to have a good rest of your day. Adios. Thank you for being here. Have a good afternoon.
Ah, ok, está bien entonces, pero no lo den, ya tírenlo a la basura, ok, porfa. Gracias, Clarita. Lo que pasa es que, sí, lo que pasa es que estoy en conferencia con maestro, por eso no puede contestar.
I'll add something. I got about 10 different names sent to me, Dr. Irish.
Vente.
10 different parents sent me names. I think I just want to make sure that we.
Vente, mamá, deja que acabe mi esa, voy a...
I'm going to mute this again.
Jennifer SA.
Okay. I muted everybody. There was just some background noise there. So Dr. Irish, you can unmute yourself now if you want.
So the parent, the student of Amy ASQ,
Okay,
SA, and Gracia,
okay, so Gracia, okay, we got Gracia's name.
you have SA. I'm not really sure who that is, but they're on here as SA. And then we have Amy ASQ.
Okay, so I'm looking for the student's name for Amy ASQ. All right, let me see.
Looks like Amy put it in the general chat.
Okay.
And then I don't know if SA messaged you or Grace.
I'm looking through all these messages here. Let's see. Okay, Amy ASQ. Do you see the time of that message?
Okay, so I do see 12:32.
12:32. Okay.
Mhm.
Let me see if I see the name.
And I think Gracia may have logged off before doing it because I don't see Gracia.
Gracia, I did get Gracia's name. So Gracia is the name of the student, correct? Is that what they were saying?
Okay, so she's on Gracia, so yeah, I don't see that in the main chat, so they may have just sent it to you.
Yeah, I'm looking. I guess I can figure this out offline. How can you look at the chat transcript?
So every month we have one parent who helps us to count down, and this is how we celebrate the call and we sign off. Do we have someone? Last time I think we were trying to find a dad to help us sign off. So this month we'll look for a mom to help us sign off. And I see Miss Carol is driving, so she may not be able to do it. Who do we see? Do you see any familiar faces, Mr. Doyne? I know you see lots of them.
Sure. I see, I think la mamá de Edwin ha estado presente en cada reunión. Ahora veo su cara. No sé si, señora, la mamá de Edwin y Emmanuel, no sé si podría contar, empezando en 10 hasta 1 para que cerramos la reunión. Ok, te voy a dejar quitar su mudo. Hay que quitar su mudo.
Ok. 1, 2, 3.
Empieza con 10. Empieza con 10.
Oh, con 10. A 10.
Hasta 1.
Ok. 10, 9, 8, 7,
Hola, Manuel.
6, 5, vamos a contar 20. 4, 3, 2 y 1.
Uno.
Okay.
Adios, everybody.
Ok, adiós.
Adiós.
See you next time.
See you next time. Chamaco, no selecciones.